We greet our friends everywhere with Chapter 2 of Ninepence in Her Pocket, the story of Gladys Aylward. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, and comes to you from the radio studios of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago. Life for the young London parlourmaid began to change in the year 1925. Up until then, Gladys was occupied with pleasing her employer and pleasing herself on her half-day off and free evenings. The tiny brown-eyed maid from Belgrave Square was much in demand as a dancing partner. And when she was too tired for dancing, beaux were glad to take her to the motion pictures or for quiet walks along the tree-lined streets in the square. Her future seemed easily predictable. She would soon marry one of her young men, set up housekeeping in a tiny house in a London suburb close to her parents' home. She would have a small garden in the back and a hedge around the front broken by a gate, and serve tea and bread and butter at 4 o'clock. It was all going to be quite pleasant. But on a Sunday morning when she was 22, a minister said something to her after church that shocked her out of her complacency.
Miss Aylward. Oh, yes, Miss Aylward. There's something I've been wanting to say to you. I feel sure that God is wanting you.
Pardon me?
I said, God is wanting you.
I don't know what you mean. I'm sure. Hello, Mom. I'm home.
Well, now, that's nice. You're not sick, are you?
Oh, it's good to sit down. Of course I'm not sick.
What are you doing home, then?
It's my off day.
I'll make some tea. I haven't got any cake.
That's all right. I'm not hungry. A cup of tea will hit the spot.
You ever fallen out with Brian?
No?
Nothing going on in town?
I expect there is.
Are you sure you're feeling quite well? You haven't been home on your day off since New Year's.
I don't know, Mom. I'm getting sick of dances.
At 22.
It's not just dances, it's going out at all. Pictures, walks, parties, boat rides. It's all the same. I'm just bored. I guess it's not fun anymore.
Oh, I know what's ailing you. You're getting ready to settle down, you are. Here, help me with this tray. And it's high time, if you ask me. Violet's married already, and her 2 years younger than you. There. You do need a cup of tea.
Mother, what do you think about God?
About God?
Yes. Do you think he wants us?
Do you mean, do I think he wants us to go to church and do our bit and all that? Of course I do. But what's this got to do with you getting married?
No, I don't mean does he want us to do anything. Does he want us? Our own selves?
Well, Gladys, you're getting too deep for me. Why don't you go next door and ask Mrs. Williams? Her husband's a clergyman. She'd know more about this than I do. And I've got my baking to do.
That's a good idea, Mom. I think I will.
Say hello for me, Glad. And when you get back, we'll talk more about you settling down. Have another cup of tea, Gladys.
I just finished tea with my Mom before I came over here.
That's all right. It's good for you.
Well, what would a minister mean saying God is wanting you like that? You wouldn't think a small thing like that would bother a person, but I can't get it out of my mind.
God does want you.
It started me thinking about God and what I'm living for anyway. It doesn't seem right to be living just to keep somebody's house clean or to spend a few extra shillings on payday or even to get married. Although that's what Mum thinks life is all about.
I wouldn't be too hard on her.
Oh, I'm not. But life should be more than that.
Yes, it is.
Well, does God want people like that? Does he really call for them?
Oh, yes, Gladys, he calls for them. He calls for you. And, oh, my dear, I believe he's caught you.
Gladys was caught, and in the service not long after, the energetic little maid found Christ. After she'd been a missionary in China for over 30 years, Gladys Aylward was to say of her conversion, "I don't remember the church or even who preached. I only know I found Christ. For a long time, I just floated along in a sense of being saved."
Cheddington Road next.
Millions of souls in China cry out for the gospel, yet die in ignorance without Christ. Millions wait imprisoned in pagan superstition and fear. Where are the missionaries? Why do so few listen as China pleads for the gospel? Millions have never heard the gospel.
Beg pardon, miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just talking to myself.
That's all right, miss. This is your stop, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Cheddington Road. Watch your step.
Thank you. Lord, I do pray for the people of China. It's dreadful that there's so many, so far away who've never heard. Do send more missionaries to the land and help me to give more.
Hurry
And
up,
pray
Gladys.
more.
We're all waiting
Oh,
for
Larry.
you.
Laurie, happy birthday.
Thank you. Tea's getting cold.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here she is. Let's eat.
Hurry up, Gladys, you're late. How are you, dear?
Fine, Mum.
Your missus keep you late?
Yes, the upstairs girl was sick. I had to help the missus dress.
Oh, my.
Didn't she know it's your half day?
Of course she did. Think that matters to her?
She's all right, Mum.
Well, are we going to have tea or are we not?
We are. And a birthday cake. Sit down, Gladys.
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, I say, is that what you had under the cloth?
As if you didn't know.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Laurie. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Now, let's eat.
First of all, a toast. To the king.
Oh, Dad, for goodness sake.
With tea?
To the king.
To the king.
What's Dad have in his, huh?
Now, don't sit down. To Laurie, my firstborn, and I might add, my lastborn son. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Laurie.
Thank you. You blokes can drink all the cold tea you like, but it is my birthday, and I'm going to eat. Pass the bread.
Don't cram your mouth full.
Gladys, my dear, I am no longer a child. I've been wiping my own nose for some time
You
now.
do stuff your mouth, Laurie.
I used to hope that someday Gladys would get married and have children of her own. Then she'd leave me alone. Now that there's no hope for that,
Laurie!
I suppose I'll have to get married instead.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But what's to become of Gladys? It's bad enough that she's a spinster.
Laurie,
lady.
have some tea.
No, thanks. But I believe her years are telling on her, and she's turning a bit daft.
Oh, and now I'm daft.
Laurie, the things you say. It's a good thing Gladys knows how to take you.
She doesn't know how to take me. She ought to take me seriously. Did I or did I not see you walking down the street talking to, yourself?
Pass the jam, Mother. Thank you. I was not talking to myself. I was praying.
There now, you see. Laurie, cut your cake.
I can't cut cake.
Well, put the knife in. Oh, that's right. You can do it.
Praying. You think it isn't daft to walk down the street in broad daylight praying with your eyes open? Who are you praying for?
The people of China.
China.
See what I mean? She's got China on the brain.
No, I haven't.
If you ever saw a Chinaman, you'd probably run a mile.
Oh, Laurie.
Thank you.
Well, explain to me why you're always talking about the poor people of China. What about India? What about that? At least India's British.
I know India needs the gospel. I don't know why I care so much about China.
Well, I wish you'd stop worrying about the Chinese. They aren't even Christian.
That's just the point. Shouldn't someone tell them about Christ?
That's an old maid's job. Oh, I say, why don't you go and do it yourself?
What?
I only said, why don't you go and do it yourself?
Yes, that's it.
What's it?
I will go and do it.
You're going to China?
Now, Gladys, I don't want you to lose your head. Laurie was only teasing you.
I told you she's daft. How would you ever get to China? You going to walk all the way, Glad?
I will if I have to. Oh, I've known for a long time that China and God and me were somehow linked. And now I know why. He's sending me to China.
You've heard Chapter 2 of Ninepence in Her Pocket, the story of Gladys Aylward. This is another in the series Stories of Great Christians and comes to you from the radio studios of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.